Hey guys, this is Deepti Jacob, also called DJ by some, and actually prefer that way, with Sitara Center for Emotional Counseling. Today we are en route to Wayanad. For those of you who might not know Wayanad, it is a tiny little hill station in Kerala with beautiful roads and beautiful sceneries and vistas and covered with greenery and it's a beautiful place. If any of y'all have not visited, it's a must visit. It's not too far from Bangalore, just about 200 odd kilometers, and a must do. It's you can totally do it over a weekend. Now, while you're enjoying the vistas that you can see on your screen, these are actual videos that I'm seeing currently. These are scenes that I'm seeing currently. And while you enjoy all of this, today I would like to talk about a specific topic which a lot of people might shy away from talking and call it out for what it is. Now, to just give you a little brief background about me, I am a practicing psychologist and have been practicing for a few years now. And with that out of the way, let me tell you what I want to talk about. Today, I want to talk about how certain people use certain excuses for bad behavior. Now, it is important that all of us, including the person who uses such excuses, to understand exactly why, what, and how we're using it so that we can start taking and making corrective action about the things that we do, which doesn't either serve us or serve, our families, our circles. Now, one of this is, I get this thrown at me quite often. A certain person sort of behaving, not very well, has too much of stress, has a lot of childhood trauma, is dealing with a lot of stuff, and all of that, right? One of this is this childhood trauma, this catch-all phrase that seems to be, one of those key words on everybody's lips these days. Thanks to the internet and thanks to knowing about all of these terms, we just use it, very loosely. Now, childhood trauma, let me, build this. Let me lay the foundation down firstly. Childhood trauma is extremely traumatic, and there's no doubt about that, right? Now, childhood trauma can happen because of various reasons, right? And I'm not getting into what is childhood trauma, because that is not the point of this conversation. This conversation is about how people use childhood trauma to get away with things that they shouldn't otherwise be allowed to get away with. Nor should others allow them, nor should they themselves allow themselves the leeway to use childhood trauma to sort of get away with certain actions of theirs. Right? Now, let me help you understand why I'm saying this, right? Firstly, childhood trauma is something that does affect us very, very deeply, can influence the way we think, behave, our actions, our reactions. It definitely can influence a lot of stuff. Now, all of these influences are beyond of our control up to a certain age in life. Why a certain age in life? Because there's a certain part of our brain which is not developed as yet. This part of the brain starts to develop once we cross about 18, 19, 20, thereabouts. It starts to develop from then and finishes its entire development up till the age of about about 30. Right? Now, of course, there are outliers either ways of the spectrum. There are people whose brains start to develop faster, this particular part of the brain, right? And there are people whose this particular part of the brain could continue to develop even beyond of 30, perhaps, right? But those are few and far between. But the point is that now this part of the brain is called the prefrontal cortex. What is this prefrontal cortex? It is the area of the brain which allows us to take rational decisions, make rational choices, and use our executive function, so to speak, to be able to control our reactions, our actions, our thoughts, our behavior. Right? This part of the brain starts to develop beyond of 18 and goes on up to 30. Now, once this part of the brain develops, none of us, no matter what, who has done what to us, can allow ourselves the leeway to use childhood trauma as an excuse for our behavior. So if I choose to behave badly, if I choose to think not well, if I choose certain reactions, these are my choices, and I have to take complete responsibility, complete accountability for the way I behave after 30. I do not have absolutely any excuse for behaving badly after 30. So, childhood trauma is not a reason to behave badly. So, don't either allow anybody this excuse, right? When they say, oh, childhood trauma sort of is what is causing me to sort of react a certain way. I'm sorry. Don't allow this. Call it out for what it is. You are above 30, you have complete choice. You have complete power over your reactions and your actions. So if you're above 30 and you're saying childhood trauma, I'm sorry, I'm not going to excuse you. Likewise with ourselves. If we are the ones who are using it, it's truly and honestly time to throw that away. And take complete power, complete accountability of our own actions. And I'll tell you something, this is where the magic happens. This is when the real coming into yourself starts to happen. When you start taking accountability, when you start taking responsibility for your thoughts and your behaviors, you will finally give yourself the power back to control yourself, where your life is headed. Because as much as a person uses this as a crutch, I also know that this is also something that stops us from growing, stops us from achieving our full potential. So let's do something and let's throw this away, and let's accept that if I'm above 30, I really have no excuse, and this is my own doing. And I am going to make sure that whatever I do, whatever my reactions are well thought of and executed well, so that I have complete power over myself. Thank you for listening. We're going to continue with a whole bunch of topics like this. Some of this could be stuff that people don't really talk about. But as a psychologist, I think that's important, that somebody, calls out things for what it is. And I've taken it upon myself to do so. So like, share and subscribe to this channel if you would like to hear more of this. And if you think that there are people who could benefit from these videos, please go ahead and share. Thank you for listening. Have a good one. Bye-bye.